I want to share this crazy article about a Grayzone about the Russell Brand situation. Like this video, share this video, all that good stuff. Grayzone, Kit Klarenberg did a fantastic article about this Russell Brand situation. Title says, Intel linked UK official pushing censorship of Russell Brand. Surprised? I literally, when I opened this article, or whenever I saw, Max tweet out the article, I said, yeah, duh. I didn't even know what the situation was. I'm like, yeah, of course, duh. Literally no one's surprised. Once again, you snitched on yourself. You sent a letter to make sure that your coordinated attacks went the way that you desired them to. You literally returned to the scene of the crime, like all criminals do. It says that the author of letters to social media companies demanding the financial punishment of Russell Brand is a British lawmaker implicated in London's war on the C word and Ukraine dissenters. Her husband was a commander in the army's PsyOps division. Bruh. All right, here we go. Actually, I'm going to skip this part. The first part, because you already know about it, but this part. So the Grayzone can now reveal that YouTube's financial censorship of Brand is a result of an effort waged by a former government minister who was responsible for London's crackdown on dissent during the C word. Yeah, I know what the C word is. Her husband also participated in that campaign of state repression as deputy commander of 77th Brigade, the British Army's Psychological Warfare Division. It's crazy just how this stuff sounds like the plot to a movie. Like the more and more, the further and further we go along, it just sounds like the plot to a damn movie. Like an obvious plot. That's just, the plot, not like a plot to a really good movie. Like the plot to a movie where you're like, yeah, I know how this is going to end, but I guess I'll finish watching it anyway because my significant other wants to watch it. For some reason, she likes it. Whatever. It says that YouTube justifies the monetization of Brand on the grounds that he violated creator responsibility policy. This marks the first time a content creator has been financially punished by the company for reasons other than videos published on the site. A spokesperson has claimed that if creators' off-platform behavior harms our users, employees, or ecosystem, we take action. Yeah, so once again, the problem would be in that particular situation, you're over allegations that haven't been proven, haven't been confirmed, haven't been tried in the court of law, and are 10 years old, like longer than that in some cases. You're like, oh man, we created this policy yesterday, so now we're going to punish him for it. That's not fair. That's not right. It's not just. But that's YouTube, right? I guess we know how it goes. It says that the allegations against Brand date from between 2006 and 2013. So yeah, more than 10 years in some cases, and have yet to be proven in the court. There's no indication that the charges are being investigated by law enforcement in Britain or the US, where the offenses allegedly occurred. And Brand, of course, has vehemently denied accusations of abuse and rape. New developments suggest YouTube censorship of Brand was driven by direct British government decree. On September 19th, social media companies TikTok and Rumble received a pair of almost identical letters dispatched by Caroline Dinenage. I'm gonna go with Dinenage or Dinenage or Dinenage. She's British. I'm gonna go with Dinenage. Let me try to say it in British. Dinenage. Yeah, we're gonna go with Dinenage. That sounds right. The head of the UK Parliament's Culture, Media and Sports Committee. That sounds dystopian. Like, what the hell? Dinenage informed the companies she was concerned that Brand may be able to profit from his content published on both platforms. Can you believe that? That man who putting all that work in, doing his research, employing multiple people, he might be able to profit from doing work that he's doing fantastically. It's almost as if you're doing work and you're providing a service or a good, that you should be paid to to continue to do it. I don't know. I think that's how it works, but who knows? I'm a dumb American. Just some dumb YouTube guy. Just kidding. It's not true. And most of you all have already seen the letter. The committee's letter to Rumble contained a direct demand for demonetization. We would like to know whether Rumble intends to join YouTube in suspending Mr. Brand's ability to earn money on the platform. In a withering response to Dinage's, we're gonna go with Dinenage, did I say that? Dinage's letter, Rumble CEO Chris Pavlovsky asserted that while noting his company obviously deplores sexual assault, rape, and all serious crimes, and believes that both alleged victims and the accused are entitled to full and serious investigation. Pavlovsky went on to slam YouTube's demonetization of Brand, declaring that Rumble stands for very different values and emphatically rejects the UK Parliament's demands. So, like I said earlier, I will be joining Rumble starting Monday. They won me over, but this is where the tea gets spilled. This is the important part. UK info warrior power couple takes aim at inconvenient online truths. Caroline Dinenage served as the UK government's digital and cultural minister from February 2020 to September 2021. Now, that time period might seem really familiar to a lot of you all. That's right, because it is that time where the P word happened with the C word. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Making her de facto chief of Department of Culture, Media, and Sports. In this capacity, she was personally responsible for overseeing construction of repressive World Economic Forum endorsed online safety bill. Now, we're going to finish that sentence. The online safety bill, which has been criticized by rights groups for threatening the rights of free expression and privacy. For her leading role in crafting the speech muzzling bill, Dinenage was honored by Princess Royal with the title of Dame Commander of the British Empire. What? Y'all ain't got no damn empire no more, so y'all need to chill with that. So, really quick, I want to show y'all a little bit of that online safety bill. This is just the key message from the bill. All right. This is only in the UK. The local government association supports the overall aims of the online safety bill, which makes provisions for the regulation by Ofcom of certain internet services. The regulation proposed in this bill is aimed at ensuring platforms have systems and processes in place to deal with illegal and harmful content and their associated risk, particularly children and young people. They always try to use children. But once again, we still waiting on Mr. Jeffries' list. We still waiting on. I'm not gonna go there. The bill primarily does this by introducing duties of care to some user-to-user services, i.e., ergo social media sites and search engines. That's terrifying. The bill also imposes duties, which is fines, if I'm not mistaken. That's British for fines, on such providers in relation to the protection of users' rights to freedom, expression, and privacy. Now, how I read that is we impose fines to such providers in relation to the protection of rights, which means we impose fines in relation to us telling y'all to violate someone's right to freedom of expression or freedom of privacy, and y'all don't do it. And that's what that basically means. That I'm not a lawyer, but pretty sure that we can agree that's what they're probably talking about. Now it gets a little bit dystopian. Okay. Under the provisions of the bill, all regulated services will have a duty of care in relation to illegal content, and if services are deemed accessible by children, which, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we live in 2023. Please explain to me What online content is not accessible to children? The very unfortunate reality is, if a kid gets their dad's credit card and knows a dad's birthday, he could get into OnlyFans, no problem, just like that. He is going to press yes, 18, damn right, and go do his thing. And somebody going to get their college paid for and never use a degree. But do you understand how vague this is? How dangerously vague this is? But gets better. Like I said, they all use the children. Further to this, the bill sets out that regulated services will be categorized into 3 categories within which different duties will apply. For example, providers of user-to-user services which meet a specified threshold are subject to additional duties. Further clarity is needed as to how services will be categorized. The LGA recognizes that the delicate balance this legislation must maintain between preserving users' freedom of expression and civil liberties, whilst also protecting users from harmful content. We therefore welcome user verification and user empowerment duty within this bill that apply to Category 1 services. The LGA welcomes these duties as they provide choice to adult users on what content and users they want to engage with, whilst also allowing users to remain anonymous should they want to or need to. The LGA broadly welcomes the new threatening and false communication offenses, as well as user empowerment and verification duty that will enable users to. So basically, as you can see, this legislation that was passed during the C word, during the P word because of the C word, y'all know what I'm talking about, is literally just a bill saying we can base, it is the ultimate YouTube community guidelines piece of legislation. We're going to say a bunch of vague stuff. We're going to use it when we feel like it. And we don't care how you feel about it. And Russell Brand actually talks about this in the video that he did earlier today, saying that this is what they're using. I'm assuming he's going to discuss how he knows that, but he says that this is what they're using in the UK to force YouTube and maybe TikTok, we don't know, to censor him. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm genuinely curious. Isn't it a little bit peculiar that the woman who passed this legislation specifically censoring and encouraging the censoring of anyone who challenges the narrative of, in this particular case, the UK, isn't it very interesting that the probably the most popular UK celebrity on YouTube, I think is that a fair assessment? I feel like, I'm not British, but I feel like that's a fair assessment. The most popular British YouTuber / celebrity who has dedicated his current YouTube career to calling to attention the attacks on civil liberties, the attacks on freedom of speech, the attacks on freedom of expression. Isn't it really interesting that the woman who created a bill and literally got an award for it to attack freedom of expression and freedom of speech online, that she writes a letter to silence the man who has probably been the most vocal and has called the most attention to her attempts to censor people. Legal, not attempts, excuse me, it's no longer attempts because it's legal, it's already been passed. Like literally, she saw her target because he was talking to her. I was like, nah, we're shutting that down. We're shutting that down. So at that point, and once again, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't got to believe. I won't say that. I'm gonna get me in trouble. Well, no, I don't. I will not pretend as if any of this is about the victims, because I now know the intelligence community is involved. Once again, this is not weighing judgment on whether or not he was right and wrong. Right and wrong, two different things. But what I will not do is pretend like the intent is credible, like the intent is altruistic or just. I will not do that. Like people want to argue me, you're going to defend Brand. I'm not defending Brand. I'm calling out the system for what it is. I see that a woman who literally made it her life's mission, got a job title for it and everything, got a piece of legislation successfully passed. Her mission was to do what? To censor legally, to control conversations, and to control narratives on social media. And I see a man get attacked in a coordinated effort by multiple major media corporations in a very specific way, mind you, on a very specific day. And then she could have just let it go, right? She could have just, you know what? He gonna go to Rumble, but that's fine. We good. Don't stress it. But y'all know how these people, you know how these boomers be. They overcorrect. Hey, real quick, I'm totally not the one responsible for Russell Brand being removed, and I'm totally not responsible for this coordinated attack. Like, I don't want you to think that this is related in any way, form, or fashion. But like, hey, can you please like do this very specific thing that I'm saying to do? Like, can you just please demonetize him? Can you please just make sure nobody can see him? Can you please make sure he can't make a living? I'm just writing you a letter. And also using the the stamp of the UK government on the, but I don't want you to think that it's related. Like, it doesn't mean that I'm the one who coordinated the attack. But you think just because he's made a career off of challenging literally everything that I have done as far as censorship is concerned, like since 2020, like you think because he's made a career exposing me that I take that personally? No, I just want to make sure that I want to make sure that the victims aren't harmed by Russell Brand talking about random shit that has nothing to do with the victims on your platform. I just want to make sure that the victims aren't harmed. It's all about them. But can you make sure to not pay them?